Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Aurora and here I am to deliver you the weekly intuitive energy update for the week of November 22nd, 2021. So welcome back if you have been here before, and welcome if you are new here. Just so that you know, I'm gonna do it this time, guys. These are timeless readings. So what that means is that it doesn't matter when you find this information. Whatever I am channeling today for this week, the information that's coming through, it will hold a resonance with whatever it is that you're going through, meaning that it will resonate with you, meaning that it's the exact guidance that you're going to be needing this week, okay guys? So if it's past this week and you're just finding this video, then that's okay too. Just listen, be open, keep an open mind, keep an open heart, and just allow for the information to basically activate you, because there is a lot of information that's going to be coming through this week. It's all good, of course, but it is a lot, so just kind of keep that in mind. So I'm actually going to open with a song that I wrote last night. I mean, a little tune that I wrote. I can't really categorize it as a song, I guess, because it is not complete, but it's okay. It's a little tune that I wrote. So there's a lot of like ancestral energy that's really been coming through for me personally, and I'm assuming that it's collective energy as well. So I kind of have like this, yeah, anyway, you'll see what it's about. But yeah, so this very profound energy connecting us to our ancestors, to our lineage, and I'll get into the spiritual karmic ties that are also related to that as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into everything with you guys. So I'm just gonna, and I had my bowls out and then I put them back because I thought, you know what, when I channel this, or when I play this song for you guys, then that'll be me clearing the energies, okay? So as I'm singing this, I'm setting the intention beforehand so that this calls in your higher self, my higher self, all our guides, all angels, source, everything that is here to help us and raise our vibration, okay? So here we go. It was a second too soon, a second too late. It doesn't really matter, alignment don't fake. You can't mistake the divine signs of our calling, of our ancestor songs. And we sing the song of self-forgiveness and shake our bodies till dawn. We ask ourselves for forgiveness and forgive in each rhythm of the beat, rhythm of the earth, rhythm of the woman, the divine source of all creation, of child and man. Let's back up her wisdom and honor her land. Her body, her mind, her soul, his creations, so divine and pure. My mother, can you hear me cry? My father, can you trust her to receive the signs? So good. So that is that. And so I'm channeling this. It's got a tribal feel. It's like I say tribal because it's like a very sacred energy that we're working with here and with this song and channeling this information and really honoring our sovereignty, our divinity, all of that, right? And really, really like acknowledging all the pieces of the puzzle and how they're all important. Like, we live in a very patriarchal society, and so there's a lot of feminists out there that are actually just in the same category as the patriarchy, because the patriarchy has programmed them to basically hate, right? And in a matriarchy, we don't live from that place, and we see things as a maternal figure, right? And so mother energy is more present, whereas we're really lacking that mother maternal energy and the wisdom, right, that goes with all of the knowledge that's here, right? So that's a little bit of information behind it. I was talking to my friend Glenda last night, and we were actually, a lot of what the update is actually is a lot of what we kind of unpacked last night. So yeah, so that's that. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm really excited to complete that and get that out to the world, because it is so powerful, guys. Music is so healing. And actually, that's another message that is going to come through right now, is to listen to music that helps you to feel, that helps you to connect, that helps you to kind of like get away from the chaos of the world, okay? And I'll get into that as well with release and control, and having the wisdom to know what you can't control and what you can't, right? And all this is linked to, again, ancestral. So this comes to your family lineage and what it is that you've actually incarnated into. So this is the kind of stuff that's going to be coming up this week. And it's really, really beautiful because we get to connect more to our roots and we get to ground more into our authenticity and our truth of, you know, where we really come from, okay? And a lot of the time we all run away from that, and that's because we're either embarrassed or ashamed, or, you know, it's not the most ideal situation, and so we kind of hide those parts of ourselves, and then we live from that wounded space and we make our decisions based around that, right? So it's really about bringing that awareness to really just where you're from and who you are and how that has literally made you who you are today, right? And honor that versus kind of suppressing that and trying to get away from that. Okay, so after my opening song, I wanted to talk about the eclipse energy that is here right now, and I'm just going to touch base on it real quick. We are in the middle of this portal energy, okay? We just had the partial lunar eclipse on the new moon, and that was on November 19th. And then we have a solar eclipse on the 4th of December, and that is a full moon. Yeah, full moon. I actually should have it written down. No, we just had the full moon. Sorry, guys. This is why I take notes. Yeah, so we just had the full moon, sorry, and then coming in is the new moon. And so that's a solar eclipse as well as a new moon on the 4th of November, right? Okay, so we are kind of in this window of these portals, which means that we're in a portal, okay? So we're in the portal of a portal of a portal, okay? So talked about fractal reality, right? So we're really moving through this energy right now, and as we're going through that partial lunar eclipse energy that has just passed, and we're building up to the solar new moon eclipse, we're going to be feeling a lot, okay? And so this is a big purge time. This is a time where things come up and out, and I'm just realizing I never lit my incense, so let me get that going. Gotta get the vibes. Beautiful. Okay, so as we're going through this transition, we're really being reminded of who we are, our divinity, our sovereignty, our free will, our choice, especially right now with everything that's going on in the world and it being kind of stripped from us, and consensually, non-consensually, things are happening to us, right? And so it's like, okay, well, where's that line? We got to find the line. We got to find that division between me and you. But the only reason we need to find that division is so that we can understand where we're at in all of it, right? So it's not about like creating a divide so that, you know, you're this and you're this. No, it's just like allowing for us to be educated, to have truth, to have information that is provided for us instead of always being coerced and manipulated and controlled. Because I will tell you guys, like, I have just cleared so much of that energy out of my field, my personal field, my personal family lineage. Actually, I had a whole thing go down with my dad, and that was a whole thing, and it was all for speaking the truth. It was all for standing in my power. It was all for expressing myself, and I definitely got my message across a little bit too open of a throat chakra as I have all this blue on, but you know what? That's sometimes what we have to do. Sometimes we need to just let it out and express it, okay? So we're really in this transition energy. It's purifying, it's purging, it's cleansing. All of this has to do with our ancestral lineage and our trauma that we have carried into this lifetime, that we've basically been born into, right? So we can play victim only for so long, and then from that place forward, we choose to empower ourselves because we now have this newfound awareness of, you know, why you are the way that you are. Okay, so I just really want you guys to have that awareness that this is the energy that we're in. We're in eclipse season, so going from the 19th of November until just after the 4th, I would say, of December, because the energy doesn't just, disappear. We kind of decline from that. It like has a crescendo, it builds up and then comes back down, right? So we're kind of in the middle of that full moon, partial lunar eclipse energy kind of dissipating, and then we're building back up into this this solar eclipse, okay? And so again, whenever an eclipse is happening, it creates a portal, right? It like, because there's this passing of all of, the earth blocking out the sun, and there's this like transition that creates right here this perfect alignment, and that is the portal of high solar energy. Oh my god, that incense smells so good. Of high solar energy, which is light energy that is coming in to activate us. And if you were here last week, then you know that I explained the greater source, the greater central sun to you guys, and how suns are portals and how they're energy, and how we're constantly getting downloads of like all of this high frequency light energy, just because of where we are planetarily in the universe, like kind of where we're placed in the universe right now. We're actually receiving a lot of information from these higher realms, these higher beings, the angelic realms, the fairy realms, the dragons, all of these things that we think aren't real that really are, and they all are a representation of an aspect of the universe, right? So, okay, that was beautiful. So like, yeah, again, bring that awareness in about the eclipse as you're going through this, okay? Okay, so my first note that I have after that is stepping into our sovereignty, our power, and our truth, okay? Like, as I just kind of touched base on, we're really like having a light shone on where it is that that we are disempowered in our lives, and really where it is that we can't like handle things anymore. And I know that I have said this a lot, but again, because we're in this eclipse energy, really anchor that in and remind yourself, okay? Might sound like a broken record, but it's just because I'm trying to remind you again and again, because the human forgets, okay? Our higher self always knows. I used to always say, hey, you know what? Aurora has no idea what's going on here. My higher self, I trust her, I trust the universe, and they're here to support me. And so really anchoring in that belief into your consciousness is really going to help you right now, and trusting yourself for everything that you are going through, and that you know that you can handle it and that you will handle it, okay? This is your higher self coming through right now, from me to you, from them through me to you, to say, hey, you're doing amazing. It might feel like a shit show's going on in your life right now, but trust it. Trust that this is guiding you closer to yourself, closer to your truth, closer to your sovereignty, closer to your higher self, closer to your spirit, closer to source, closer to all of the things that you're aching for, that unification, that lack of separation, which I'm going to go into duality and polarity in a minute. But yeah, so being able to kind of look beyond the scope of that small perspective lens that you've always looked through, right? And so you're being invited to kind of, this is later on, I'll talk about it, but Buddha says to be the observer of the observed, okay? So it's like when you learn to start meditating and you learn to go within your own mind, and once you can quiet the monkey mind, then it's like you realize that there's an observer that's observing the observed. And so it's kind of like this Russian nesting doll of consciousness, where you can kind of evolve and grow past all of these different layers and levels. And then the highest place that you can get would be source consciousness, right? And so that's kind of what we're all kind of working towards, to come back to the light, to come out of our darkness and come back to the light, okay? So we're learning to step into our sovereignty, our power, and our truth right now, okay? And so this is where we're learning to empower ourselves instead of disempower ourselves through our ancestral lineage. We can say, you know what? I made it through this, and I'm getting full body goosebumps as I'm saying this. I made it through this. Look at what I've done. Look at everything I've achieved. Look at how great I'm doing from once where I was. And even if that's not the case for you, you're being urged, or at least if it's not the case that you feel that way, you're being urged to really dive into that then, and to really look at where you've come from, where you've been, and where you're going, because you are the one in this present moment that gets to direct and redirect any of that energy if you have free will. So you can always choose to revoke that. You can say, no, I decide to nil and void that contract. A lot of us have vows of poverty. A lot of us have a bunch of different vows and contracts from our different lifetimes. And this is the lifetime where we're being urged, where we're being invited into actually dissolving those. And so you have the power to literally revoke your contracts. Now, of course, there's certain contracts that you can't revoke. Like if you're going to have a child with somebody, or if you're going to marry somebody, which in a way you can revoke that too, right? So, I mean, it's all just a game, okay? And when we can start to look at it from this higher perspective, from this higher lens, and we can really ask ourselves and honor our truth, right? Then we can move forward in a way that aligns us more with our integrity, right? Okay. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of like overwhelm energy too, because this is really, really, really deep trauma, deep-seated trauma. This is lifetime trauma. This is ancestral trauma. This is trauma that is stored in your DNA. How the fuck do we release that, right? And so we bring consciousness, we bring awareness to it. That is literally our superpower, okay? I just wrote a Facebook status on that. Hey guys, if you forgot, your superpower is your awareness as well as your consciousness, right? Like, I mean, what a powerful vessel. Like, being human, we're so powerful, and we've been so disempowered for so long. And so now we're stepping into this realm of empowerment. And so in order to be empowered, in order to feel empowered, we must release all the old beliefs around what it is that disempowered us, what it is that made us feel small. That one time that someone said something to you that's so buried deep, so within your subconscious mind that you don't even remember who said it or why they said it. It's just there, right? And so, you know, we're energetic beings and we hold this energy. And so a lot of the time, our beliefs are not really our beliefs. They're what people have programmed into us, because humans are so vulnerable and so receptive to programming, right? Because we want to fit in, we want to be part of the tribe, we want to be heard, we want to be seen, you know, like in a way, like humans can be very simple if we can actually just meet our basic needs. But the thing is that we're living in a really warped society where we're actually not supported to thrive. We actually are kind of set up to fail, right? So we're really learning to step into, you know, again, our empowerment. So all of that to say, focus on letting go of what you can't control, okay? So this is going to be the huge, like, I'm on my way to the store today and I'm like having some anxiety, and because I'm human too, and I'm like, why am I feeling this? Like, what is this? Like, whose is this? Is this mine? Is it because I'm going to be going and doing the energy update for the collective? Like, is this the collective's? Like, I'm, you know, I talk to myself and the universe to ask what it is that's coming in and what it is that's coming through me, right? And so I ask so that I know, right? And so that was the download that I got. I just about called the universe she, so that's interesting. The universe said, you know, source said, let go of what you can't control, okay? So I started really like thinking about, okay, what am I feeling right now, and what is it in my world that I need to let go of, what that I can't control? So I started like thinking about all the things that were stressing me out, but that I have no control over. So I started just releasing them. Like, you can do a visualization where you literally have like balloons in your hand, okay? You can, you know, close your eyes and connect to yourself and do this visualization of you holding balloons, and each balloon you take out of your hand and you let it go, and you watch it go away, okay? And you just, this is a visualization technique to release these energies from your field, okay? And then that gives you more access into your higher frequencies, so that you're not constantly going against your resistant, untrue beliefs. You're choosing to bring truth to that, okay? And then it's also about taking responsibility where you need to, right? And our wisdom is being activated to know the difference of what you can and what you can't control, okay? And that's part of the ancestral activations that are going on right now, because we have this innate wisdom. We have every single memory that each of our parents had. Like, when you are in your mother's womb, you literally get imprinted with every single thought, every single emotion, every single experience that she goes through while you were in her womb. And then, of course, you get in your DNA, you get half your mom's DNA, half your dad's DNA, and then that is you. So you get, you know, we're all trauma carriers innately, and that's part of being human and suffering. But then once we learn from the suffering, we're able to rise above and enlighten ourselves and bring ourselves to this higher place, okay? This higher awareness. So we're focusing on letting go of what we can't control, and our wisdom's being activated to know the difference between the two, okay? It's like the serenity prayer, right? But the wisdom's literally being activated, so it's kind of a big deal. Okay. So I have deep karmic releases. So we're activating and highlighting the mental and emotional bodies, okay? So again, this is just, I'm just again repeating myself, but showing you guys it in another way, right? So when I say deep karmic releases, again, this has to do with your soul, this has to do with your physical human vessel, this has to do with every single pathway that you are here. That is your karma. Karma literally means action, right? And so we carry our actions into our other lives, and that's why sometimes things don't really make sense to us, to our human, but we feel things so deeply, right? Because as I have said in a energy update before, is that our emotional body is literally quantum, and what that means is that it goes beyond time and space, right? So you can have one emotion and you can have a million different experiences that go to that one emotion, right? Versus like the mind is very linear, and so we have a thought, and that's the thought, right? It is one thing, it is linear, that is that. Whereas that one thought, that linear thought, can activate the quantum emotion, which then activates all the linear thoughts, and that's how our head and our heart get out of balance, right? And so when we learn to listen and we learn to bring ourselves back to our center, this is where our power lies, okay? So we're going to have a lot of mental and emotional hiccups, okay? We're going to be having crazy thoughts. We're going to be having crazy dreams. We're going to be having crazy emotions. We're going to have all of this stuff, and as I'm speaking, I'm burping, and so that's a real solar plexus activation, and so we're really being activated into our power, right? Because what will happen is that, you know, our fears, our doubts, our unworthiness, our limiting or sabotaging beliefs, this is all going to be coming to the surface right now, okay? And so in order for us to release, sorry, I got to take my sweater off, I'm hot. So in order for us to release, we have to learn, or we have to allow for it to come up, right? So in order to let go of a trauma that has happened, we have to acknowledge it, we have to look at it, and we have to release it, and we have to just thank it, honor it, right? And I know it might sound a little bit crazy, but the deeper that you get into your spiritual path, the more you will build, you know, a sacredness with all of your trauma, and you'll realize that, you know, it all led you to this moment, and how beautiful and how powerful it really can be, okay? So again, deep karmic releases, we're activating our mental and emotional bodies and bringing to the surface our fears, our doubts, our unworthiness, our limiting or sabotaging beliefs, okay? Okay, cool. And the reason that all of this is being purged and cleared right now, so now that I've gone through like the shadow a little, there is actually the balance of the light in this one, because we're actually being activated into our organic template, okay? So I want to like, well, first I'm going to put this yoga block under my butt because I want to. It feels good. My butt hurts. Okay. So, in order for us, here, let me move that up a bit so my head's not cut off. Still a little cut off, but that's okay. Okay, so in order for us to actually enter into our organic template, okay, and what that means is that when I say organic template, I am speaking of being connected to the rhythmic universe, the rhythm of the universe. So that means that, like, so for example, right now humans are very they're very linear creatures, okay? So before I got into my spiritual journey, you know, we are taught, you know, my normal human life, you know, you are born, you have your life, and then you die. That is life. Nothing more, nothing less. And for me, that would never suffice. I'm like, what the fuck? What's the point? What is the point to all of this? Why am I even here? Like, are you serious? Like, we're just meant to freaking, you know, like come here, like walk around like robots and then die? Like, no, like there's way more to this, right? And so that's, of course, when my curiosity and my spiritual self are getting activated, because I have all the questions, right? This is the beautiful thing. I almost said juice. This is the beautiful thing about our ego, right? It is a very curious thing, but also it can overpower us, right? And so when we're accessing these organic templates, it means that we are connecting to the cyclical rhythms of the universe, okay? And so we're understanding things far beyond just the I, just the ego, just the me, just the consumer, right? Just the all about me and my family and must protect it. It's like, no, we're going to go beyond that. And I'm going to say out to my neighbors and to my community and to different people that, hey, like I would like to create and build this really beautiful experience for all of us where we all feel like family and we all feel connected versus living in such a separated world, right? And so this organic template is going to allow for us to access our natural emotional body, our natural mental body, which is a state of bliss, okay? So a lot of people have no idea that our natural state as humans is bliss because if our basic needs are met, then we are able to access the bliss body. But the problem is that we're all in survival mode, fight or flight. Our body's not digesting food properly. We're not taking in food properly. We're not taking care of our mental health. We're not taking care of our emotional health. We're not taking care of our physical health. So all of these domino, and we're not able to live a fulfilling life. And so the recipe is quite simple. It's just coming back to yourself. And who you really are and your authenticity and your truth. Now, of course, I say simple, like, you know, we can write the formula down simple, but actually doing it and experiencing it is a whole nother journey, right? So, and that's the really cool thing too, is like we can conceptualize things, but that doesn't mean that we actually practice them. So there's going to be this bridging as well between conceptualizing something, meaning understanding something, thinking about it, being able to comprehend it within your mind, and then actually being able to implement it, right? And so that's where the wisdom lies, right? Because we live in such a knowledge-based world right now, and there is no wisdom. There is zero heart energy, right? Everybody's heart is closed, everybody's hurting, everyone's in pain, everyone's suffering. And I'm, of course, generalizing because I'm sure there are some people out there that are really happy and living a blissed out life, but the reality is that for the most part, the majority is not happy, is not emotionally fulfilled, is drained in every single way. So really, I'm asking you to, you know, fix your holes in your bucket, dear Liza. You know, you got to fix the holes or your water's going to leak everywhere, right? Your life force energy is going to be spewing everywhere. Okay, all this to talk about the metaverse, guys, because the metaverse. Okay, so this is insane. This is abso-fucking-lutely crazy, okay? Like, in my opinion. Like, I am way more connected to the organic template. I would way rather us live in harmony and with peace in this physical reality, okay? Not in a reality like the Matrix where we put on our goggles, our physical body is depleted, declined, like in a corner, not able to function because we're not exercising, we're not taking care of our basic needs, and then we're living these other worlds inside our mind and we're neglecting our actual life. Like, it's so crazy. But anyway, of course I'm taking it to the extreme, right? Like, you can have a playful side to it, but I'm talking about like the real deep dark shit that, you know, they're wanting to do with humanity. So the metaverse is an analogy for the universe, okay? So basically, like, the universe is just like, it's, so one of the Hermetic principles, if you want to look into the 7 Hermetic principles, one of the laws is the law of mentalism, and I'm pretty sure it's actually the first law. So the law of mentalism is that all is mind, all is mental. So all that we're experiencing right now is literally a mind. It's a mind, and then we can manifest within that mind. So it's kind of like Inception, the idea of Inception, and that's where the fractal reality comes in too. And I'm sorry, like this week is apparently super, like really, really dense information, so I hope it's making sense. But yeah, so basically the metaverse is an analogy for the universe, okay? And so that same as the Matrix, right? That movie, The Matrix. So it's all an analogy for the universe. And so all is mental. So what they're trying to do is create their inorganic template. So what happens is that, you know, we all literally manifest our reality. So what is the difference between a hallucination and reality? Literally, it's a mass consensus. Like, it's freaking insane when I looked into that. So if you look at the definition of what reality and what a hallucination is, it's just like a agreeance on what it is. So a collective agreeance on what we all see. Okay. And that's not to say that the people that don't see what what the group sees is not there. Okay. It just means that we've all agreed in the collective that this is what we see. Okay, and so if we all start detaching from this organic template, which is our physical body, and we start going into just our mind, then our physical body is not being taken care of. It will decline, and then it's very, very easy to manipulate and control the human when it has no strength in the physical body, right? And so then basically I just see all these people getting trapped in their mind, which, to be honest, it's already happening. It's already here. This is the reality that we live in. It's just not as apparent as if everybody was just stuck in a room with these goggles on, okay? So we're accessing the organic template matrix, okay? So the organic template matrix, it is the older, wiser, and spiritually in tune technology, okay? These are words from my beautiful friend Glenda, because this is the stuff that we got into last night as we were speaking. And so we're actually accessing the organic template matrix, okay? Because you can have a false matrix and then you have the organic template, which the organic template is obviously like the organic template, okay? That is the truth, that is our sovereignty, that is our freedom, that is our source energy, that is our God energy, that is our life force energy, that is thriving, that is taking care of ourselves. All of these things we have access to, but we're not taught about it, okay? And then we have this other inorganic reality where they're trying to take AI and they're trying to like do all this stuff to basically control and manipulate us on top of all the control and the manipulation. So we have to start saying no to this reality, okay? We have to start bringing an awareness and saying, okay, I don't want this for my children. I don't want this for my family. I don't want this for my community. I don't want, and it's not to say that artificial AI is bad. I'm not even saying that. I'm just expressing that it's a non-renewable resource, okay? So it's a non-renewable resource. This AI technology is non-renewable, which means it's gonna run out at some point. With this organic template, I'm literally offering you guys infinity and beyond for your soul's evolutionary growth, okay? Because the artificial AI is not connected to the cycle, the rhythms of the universe, and of, you know, the whole purpose of the mind, right? The God mind, right? The more I say the mind, it doesn't get my thought out, but anyway, it's just funny being human. Okay, so yeah, so basically we're having access to this organic template matrix, and you have the choice, okay? So I am here to give you the information. I am here to explain the game to you. I am here to show you guys your sovereignty, to remind you of your free will. This is all about remembrance, because you have this all inside of you already, okay? Because literally, we're all part of the one anyway, right? So again, I'm not putting down AI. I'm just saying that it is a non-renewable resource for consciousness, okay? And so then we get trapped in the lower dimensions, okay? And so then we can't evolve past into higher realities, okay? So basically, that's that organic template versus inorganic template. And so we're being activated into our organic template. And that is why, as well, we're being we're being kind of rocked with our ancestral lineage, our ancestral trauma, our spiritual trauma, our past life trauma. All trauma is being resolved right now between this portal. I say all. Now, of course, everything's happening simultaneously and time isn't even real, so it is quantum, but the human might perceive it differently, okay? It's not like you're going to wake up in 2 weeks and you're all of a sudden a new human. The human is in time and space. So the physical body needs time to heal. The physical body, the mental body needs time to heal. The emotional body needs time to heal. You have to learn to practice grounding yourself into this reality, okay? Because side note, another thing that happens when we are in trauma, when the human is in trauma, the soul leaves the body because the soul is not safe anymore, okay? So a lot of people are not even inhabiting their body as there, and that's why they can get hijacked so easily. That's why they can, oh wow, that's shiny, and they go over there, right? That's why, because they're not connected to themselves, to source, right? So when you're not connected to yourself and to source and to your sovereignty, then you can very easily be manipulated and controlled, okay? And again, I'm only here to be the messenger, okay? So if you don't resonate with any of this stuff, like, that's totally okay. That's no problem at all. No skin off my back. But I do have a really huge responsibility in this lifetime to get this information out. And so here I am doing that. And whether you receive it in this lifetime or next or 100 lifetimes away, I'm still doing my mission right here, right now, in this time. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is like language and understanding. Okay, so we so basically, sorry, I was reading my note. So we're in a complex game, right? Like I said this already, it's all mental. We get stuck in loops. It's all basically like if you've ever done psychedelics, then you have been caught in the loops, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And so what that does is it teaches you how consciousness works, okay? So psychedelics, magic mushrooms more specifically than LSD, because LSD is a synthetic, and then we also have dimethyltryptamine, which is DMT, and that is more, it's a quicker, more intense experience versus the longer trip of mushrooms. But basically, it teaches you about the game, okay? The game meaning the mind, okay? And so meaning reality. And so we have to learn the language. So right now in human development, we don't know the language. And so our language is our understanding. And now, so say for example, Jesus was here 2,000 years ago, and their language was analogy, right? They had to use things that were already right here, right now in this reality in order to explain what was going on. That's why to us these days, it makes no sense. But also, like, read Shakespeare and you have no fucking idea what he's saying either, right? You have to sit there and you have to study it and you have to understand the language. So, you know, now that we have quantum physics and we have science and we have all of these very descriptive and deep understandings of our physical reality, now we can go beyond our physical reality, right? So now we're being invited into the quantum realms, and that's where these words come from, because now humans are at a place in their evolutionary path to understand these things, right? And so as we're learning, as we're expanding, as we're growing, we're learning a new language. We're learning, you know, like there's a lot of people, for example, that have been born into abuse. And so then what happens is you have to understand and learn what abuse is, right? You have to understand and learn what is abusive and what is not abusive, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, right? And you have to go on this journey based upon the programming that you've had, right? And so, so when we learn these languages, like when we start learning what narcissistic behavior is and what gaslighting is and what all of these manipulative tactics are, then we can catch them. We have that awareness. Whereas, you know, like people that fall victim over and over to these circumstances and situations, they don't have the language. They don't have the understanding, which is why the prey on the vulnerable, on the ones that don't know, okay? Because somebody that wants to manipulate you and control you will never go to an empowered person and try to do it because they have no fucking power, right? And so they find ways to get power, and they learn to basically manipulate and control you. And again, this is all based on wounds. It doesn't make that person evil. It doesn't make them bad. We all have these aspects within us, right? And so it's just like, how much of that aspect are you embodying, right? That's all it comes down to, because I have the ability to be a narcissist. I have the ability to manipulate. I have the ability to have power and control over people. I just choose not to use it in a way that isn't for the light, that isn't for the good, right? So learning a new language and cultivating a deeper understanding of the universe, okay, and of this game that we're in that we call life. Okay, so I was talking to Glenda again last night, and I said, okay, Glenda, hear me out. What is enlightenment, okay? Play with me. What is enlightenment? Because, of course, I have my own perception, definition, understanding of enlightenment. And so, but I've not studied Buddhism, and I've not studied all of these religions, and I've not studied as deeply as Glenda has in a lot of like these ways. A lot of my experiences just through personal experience and understanding and deep revelation and honestly deep suffering and then coming out of that, right? And so I said, what is enlightenment? And she says that Buddhists say it is understanding the nature of the mind, right? And I know I've already hit on this, but I wanted to mention it because this was actually the first thing I wrote on my note when we were talking. I said, what is enlightenment? And so Buddhists say it is understanding the nature of the mind, okay? And so I've already talked about how all is the mind, right? And so when you really look into Buddhism, it is really about understanding the mechanisms of the mind, right? What is the ego? What is the spirit? What is all of the ways that we, like, how does a human deal with trauma? How does a human function? What are the human's basic needs? What is the mind's desires, right? All of these different things that we can go into, right? And so, so yeah, I just thought it was really cool. What is enlightenment? Enlightenment is when you understand the mechanisms of the mind, and then you are able to evolve past that. Where is it? I think I wrote that down. Okay, yeah. So, okay, amazing. So yeah, and so then within the mind, within this reality, we have duality and non-duality. So I'm going to get into that now. This is going to go deep as well, so I hope that you can follow. I hope that I can explain it well enough. Okay, so basically I'm going to just read through this sheet and kind of let it guide me because I did already like make sure I hit the key points when I wrote this out before, so just kind of bear with me as I go through this. Okay, so what is duality and what is non-duality? Okay, so duality is the reality that we live in. Duality is, it consists of polarities, okay? And polarities are opposites, right? So we have black, we have white, we have light, we have dark, we have up, we have down, we have left, we have right. You get the point. You have the sun, we have the moon, right? We have opposites, okay? And duality is when they are when the polarities are, you know, in their dance. They're in their balance, okay? But that doesn't mean that, I guess it's, yeah, they're in their dance, because I don't want to say they're balanced, because just because duality exists doesn't mean that it's balanced, right? Because you can have it too much on one side and too much on the other, right? So you can be too far on this side of the pole or too far on that side of the pole, okay? So the duality is the separation, the understanding of separation. And then the non-duality is seeing the whole picture. So understanding that you have the light and you have the dark, and that they're actually the same thing on different sides of the spectrum, okay? And so you can't have one without the other, as non-duality implies that there must be dual, right? So if you say only non-duality exists, well, why would you say that? You're implying that duality exists, because you wouldn't say non-duality to signify unity, and if there wasn't a duality, right? Okay, sorry, I'm getting all over here. But non-duality is the integration of duality, okay? So what happens is that source energy, source consciousness understands non-duality, understands that all is one, understands that black is white and white is black, or they're the lack of each other, right? And what we do is we separate, we manifest into this dual world. We understand the light and we understand the dark, and then as we raise our vibration and we access this non-dual world, meaning this unified world, then we have this higher perspective and we actually see all of it. We see the light and we see the dark all at one time. Okay, so when you're in non-duality, which is unity consciousness, you see the whole. understanding the mechanisms of both the light and the dark, right? So let's go back to square one here. This is all about the mechanisms of the light and the dark, the mechanisms of the mind, the mechanism of the light and dark within the mind, okay? Which means your shadow self, right? And so then Glenda painted a really beautiful picture for me to explain, you know, duality and non-duality in the sense of our earth, okay? So she says that Earth always has day and night at the same time, but Canada and Australia experience them opposite in time. But the higher truth is that it always is, okay? So we always have a light and we always have a dark. But for example, in Canada, Glenda's from Australia, by the way, that's why I use that example. So in Canada, during the daytime, it is nighttime in Australia, and then vice versa, right? And so that is a beautiful representation to illustrate to you guys how you have both the light and the dark happening simultaneously, okay? Like that's a very simple way for the human to understand what I'm saying, okay? So the same happens with all other polarities and dualities, is that they are always there. It's just what are you tapping into, right? Okay, so separately we experience duality, but when we unify the polarities and create a dynamic dance between the two, we experience harmony and wholeness of the seemingly separate poles. See, that was such a beautiful way to say it. So separately we experience duality, which means we experience opposites. But when we unify those polarities, meaning unify those opposites, and we create that dynamic dance between the two opposites, which are actually the same because they create the whole, we experience harmony and wholeness of the seemingly separate poles. Put the heat on. I got all cold all of a sudden. So we are never really in the dark. Once the mechanisms of the mind are understood, then we can realize the cycles of the universe and align to our organic, pure templates. So guys, I explained all of that for a purpose, because now we're going to go back to what I was saying about understanding the mechanisms of the mind, okay? And when we can understand these mechanisms of the mind, because like I keep saying, we live in a fractal reality, okay? And what I mean by that is that basically if you look at our solar system, the farther out you go, it actually represents like, that's why I say Russian nesting dolls, because it's like the same thing within the same thing, within the same thing, within the same thing, within the same thing, which is how we have Source, the greater central sun over here, and then we have our sun over here, and they align and they create these portals, right? So this is what I'm talking about with connecting to the universal rhythm, okay? And so when we can learn how the mind works, then we learn how the universe works, because we are the universe, right? Like this is what all of us spiritual people are trying to, you know, express over and over, but it sounds very foo-foo because it's like, what are you talking about? But it is the truth on a certain level of understanding, right? Okay, and then I have Buddha says, become the observer of the observed, and then creating new neural pathways. So that's what all this is about, guys. If you do not know about neuroplasticity in the brain, I highly recommend you look into Joe Dispenza. He has spent so much time on, you know, understanding how the neuroplasticity in the brain, they used to think basically that your neuroplasticity stopped when you became an adult because like we don't learn as easily and we're more programmed. But the truth of it is that we actually have just lost our creative spark. And so when we can learn to reactivate that creative spark, then we're able to build that communication between the left brain and the right brain again, and we can get more out of that logic, more into the creativity, and create new neural pathways, which means new thoughts, new actions, new patterns, new beliefs, new programs, all these new things, which is what happens when we get stuck in our shit, is that we literally think the same thoughts every single day and don't have an awareness of it. So all you have to do, and this is why I say awareness is your superpower, because that is the truth, right? When we can learn to become aware of why we do what we do, so on and so forth, then we can access the helping hand from ourselves, from the universe, to get us out of those situations, right? And to really like integrate them so that we don't keep manifesting them in different people. So we're activating our choice and free will by showing, oh, so I am activating your choice and free will by showing you something different. And Glenda, that's from Glenda last night as well, okay? So this is what we are here for. This is what we have come to this planet for. This is why I've manifested as a human this lifetime, because I really, really, really love humans. I really, really love, you know, watching the collectives thrive. Because that's what we deserve, and we have been hijacked, and we have been coerced, and we have been manipulated, and we have been controlled. So all of us spiritual beings are here now to wake you up, to shake you up and say, oh my God, please wake up, please wake up, please wake up, you know, because we want to show you something different. We want to show you that you really can thrive in this world, and that we are here to thrive, not survive. And they've convinced us of survival of the fittest, which, you know what, horse shit in some ways. Don't quote me on that. I'm a little bit heated right now. I'm a little excited, I should say, not heated, because it's just not the truth. It's not the whole truth, okay? It's just a part of the truth. And when you don't tell the whole truth, then it's still a lie, because you're missing parts of the truth, right? And so that's kind of where humans are at, is we're recollecting our truths so that we can see the whole picture. So it's your choice where you may roam. I can open the door, but you have to walk through, okay? So that is this week's. Holy guacamole. That was juicy. That was a lot of information, so I really hope that it makes sense. And if there's anything I talked about today that you're like, what is she talking about? Let me know, because I can make videos on that so that you can understand deeper as to what I'm talking about. Because I did just talk about, between last week and this week, I don't know, man, we must be being activated or something, because all the information that's come through has been very potent and powerful. Okay, so what do we want? Oh yeah, I wanted this one this week for sure. The Lightworker Oracle, that's my activation deck. I'll do this one and work your light. Perfect. Maybe this one too. We'll see. We'll see on the time. All right. So the first deck we're going to use this week is the Lightworker Oracle. Okay, so let's just see what wants to come through. For the week of November 22nd, for all of us, or whenever you're watching this, for this divine moment. Give me 3. Let's go 3. I'm going to do like a little past, present, future, especially because we're in the middle of this eclipse season, so I'm gonna do it so that's a general one. Master Hilarion and Archangel Raphael, beautiful. So these are the healing angels. These are the angels that we call on to help us on our healing path. I'm not too sure about Master Hilarion, but I work with Archangel Raphael all day, every day. He's my man, he is my healer, he is the healer, so his energy is omnipresent and you can always access it, but you have free will, so you have to say, Archangel Michael of 100% Pure Love and Light, can you please help me right now? I really need healing, I really need peace, I really need whatever you need, call it in. You have to ask, okay? So they want you to know, the angels want you to know that they're there and they're with you, but you have to let them in. You have to open up the door for them, right? I can open up the door for you, but you have free will, so you got to walk through it. For them, you got to open up the door for them, and they will definitely walk through it. Okay, cool. Nice, nice, nice. I have Star Child that just came out in the past. Orbs of Light. Oh, whoa. First ray of power. That one just screamed. And then what's the human? Initiation by air. Perfect. Okay. So we have initiation by air. This is representing our human self. Air represents the mind, our mental body, okay? So again, kind of reconfirming everything. Reconfirming? Yeah, that's it. But reaffirming sounds more natural to me. So reaffirming everything that I just said, because this is activation by our mind, okay? Our mind power, our will power, which is also related to our solar plexus and our worthiness and everything to do with the way that we show up in the world, okay? This is really cool. I'm actually just gonna I should have a second camera. I don't know how to do all the tech stuff, but this little microphone has been helpful. I'm going to just set it up like I would do, pretend like I'm just reading somebody one-on-one right now, but for the collective, because I have your past, your present, your future, your higher self, and your human self. Okay, perfect. So, perfect. Ah, love it. Okay. Okay, yep. Okay, perfect. And then fill up your well. That's so funny. When I started shuffling this was on the bottom, and now it's on the bottom again, okay? So that's a big message. Retreat, rest, and refuel. Okay, guys, so let's get right into this. So what I'm seeing for the past, I have Star Child, and I have Don't Dim to Fit In. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Okay, guys, so this is where we've been for a very long time in the human collective. And like, you want to know why? Like, I'll tell you why. Because if we ever spoke before, we would get killed. We had to hide ourselves. We had to pretend like we weren't who we were. We had to act like we were doing, or act. We had to feel like we were doing something wrong when we weren't doing anything wrong, when we were just connecting to our divinity, with our truth, with spirit, with source, with the most beautiful part of life. And it wasn't accepted. So we had to dim our light, okay? This is lifetime and lifetime and lifetime and lifetime and lifetime and lifetime thing, okay? So we are remembering. We are in the midst of remembering who we truly are, which is the Star Child. We come from the universe. We come from the source. We come from all over the universe. Some of you guys might be a Pleiadian. Some of you might be an Arcturian. Some of you might be an Andromedan, right? Like, there's so many different species that are out there, okay? A Lyran, a Syrian, I mean, it just keeps going. And so when we manifest here, we had to dim to fit in, okay? It was reversed when I pulled it. So we had to. This was our descension in consciousness, dimming to fit in. And now we're being asked to rise above in our power and remember who the fuck we are. And then in this now moment, I have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? Okay, and then I have Orbs of Light. So what I'm really getting for this is that you're starting to notice, us as a collective, we are starting to notice the orbs of light that we've left all over the universe for us to find, okay? It's like when you were a kid, imagine you left something for yourself in like a little corner in a closet or something, and then when you found it again, it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is what we've done for ourselves on a spiritual level. So we're now being able to access the light, especially as a collective. If you look into the 26,000 year cycle and the precession of the equinox, you will learn that there is the different levels of light, different cycles of light and darkness, okay? And so we're exiting out of a dark age. I think it's called the Kali Yuga. Again, I'm not well versed in that, but we're entering into the light age, okay? The age of Aquarius here. We're coming out of the Piscean victim martyr role, and we're entering into the innovative, the new age, the empowerment, the innovative, did I say that? Creative, mental activating energy too. Okay, so we're remembering, we're finding our breadcrumbs of light that we've left along the way, and we're learning how to nurture the light, okay? Because we have been programmed for so long to disconnect because of the darkness, like just feed into the darkness. Fine, you know what? You tell me I'm not good enough. You tell me I'm not worthy enough. You ask me who the fuck I am to do this. Fine, you know what? You're right. Who the fuck am I to do that? No, 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 no. We're going to back it up. We're going to remember who the fuck we are, that we come from all over the universe here to help raise the collective consciousness of humanity by being ourselves, by following the light and mothering ourselves, okay? And so then what's the result of this? The result of this is our first ray of power. Welcome, welcome. This is the first ray of power. You're entering into a very empowered phase of your life, as I have already explained so much today. Okay, so this is the Fool card. This is like the first step on your journey back to your own home, to your own soul, to your own self, okay? You're empowering yourself. So you're remembering, I am far more than what these guys have told me that I am, and I'm ready to believe it, and I'm ready to embody it, and I'm ready to have some fun, okay, guys? And that's so funny that it says that, because me and Glenda last night, as we were talking about the universe and being basically just a mind, just being a mental energy, he always asks me, what does one do with eternity? And so we create, we create. That is it. That is why it's the creator, because all he does is create and play, okay? So all this is an elaborate play in order for us to get to source. And all that it really is us. We are source. We are source getting back to source, okay? And so it's all a game, and you're going to learn to have fun with it, to celebrate, and to not be so serious, okay? To get into the playful side of life, to access these parts of yourselves, your inner child especially, that you haven't been able to access for a long time. And that's perfect, because your higher self, this is the card for your higher self, Master Hilarion and Archangel Raphael, and then you have the star seed, and it was reversed, right? So it's saying, what lights you up? This is what your higher self is saying to you right now. What lights you up? What makes you feel good? What fills your cup, okay? And then connect more to that, and that will be your natural healing. Okay, and then we have on the bottom, initiation by air. So this is our human self, okay? Our human self is being initiated by air in the mental body, in the mental plane. And the Imrama, where are you being called to journey to? Okay, so where's your mind taking you? Where's your consciousness taking you? Where's your life taking you, okay? So that was a really, really beautiful read. Yeah, okay, cool. And then I want to just pull some for energy, and I'm going to probably tie it up with this deck here, just to get the energy kind of completed, kind of give us an overall understanding of what is going on. That one wanted to come out. Financial constraints, okay, guys, and it's reversed. So something's going to happen collectively, financially, for all of us, okay? I don't know. That's pretty cool, because I've been waiting for this to come up. So this is like some really serious shit. Wow, okay, this is so exciting. Okay, I just feel every freaking fiber of my being right now. First chakra of Archangel Michael, okay? And this is the base. Okay, so this is our base chakra. This is our security. This is our financials. Okay, guys, something's happening on the collective level right now. There's like, you know, some people in the spiritual community will talk about like Nasara or Jasara or something like that. And it's basically where we have like a global currency. But it's all equal and fair, and we all get the same amount. So anyway, I'm not really sure what that's all about, but this is really cool, because we are getting, oh, storm warning. Okay, so don't get too excited. That's what the universe is saying. So stop planting these seeds for people. Okay. So basically, you know, we are, this may not be a collective thing, and it's an individual thing. And in order for us to get to, where we want to be personally, which will equate to collectively eventually, we're really being supported to really look at our finances, okay? Because if we don't, then there's that storm warning, okay? And that is your stability. That is your safety. Strategy. Perfect, okay? And I'm also hearing to say maybe like start preparing some food and water and have things for your basic needs right now in case anything is to happen. You know, on a global level, and with winter coming here up north, highly recommend. Hey, it was just 10234. That was cool. I highly recommend, you know, just being safe and preparing yourself, even if it's just having some extra beans and rice in the house, so that if you don't have nothing, then you have that at least, okay? So rest and rejuvenate. So go within, really take that time, because remember I said earlier that the physical body is in time and space. So the physical body needs that time to heal. I might say, oh, this happens instantaneously, but the physical body, it needs the extra love. It needs enough nutrients. It needs enough water. It needs enough sleep. It needs you to be taking care of it all the time. It's like a child. Angel of love. Provide love for yourself. And that's that mother nurturing energy coming through again. And then the thinking woman. So remember to be loving and nurturing within your mind as you're going through all of this. And I lied. I want one from the Hidden Worlds. Okay, it was just $3.33. Oh, look, Aurora Garden right on the bottom. Okay, one more just to tie this baby up. Okay, 2. The Healing Temple of the Lunar Light. Life cycles, energy healing, and communication. Beautiful. And then open like the lotus, flowering spirit, revelation, and maturity. Yes, humans are maturing. Humans are maturing right now. We don't have a choice. It was just 404. Perfect. So healing and maturing. That's a beautiful way to end this week off. So I'm sending you guys so much love. I hope this helped you. I hope this wasn't too overwhelming. Welcome to my mind. Yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you are local to Petrolia or Sarnia area, please come stop in. I have my store open. I am going to have Christmas hours starting tomorrow, actually, and into the Christmas time. And then in the new year, I'm going to revamp it all and focus more on my sessions and yoga classes and meditations and things like that. So yeah, if you're from around here, come on by, come check it out. I can't wait to have you here and show you the beautiful sacred space that I have been cultivating. So guys, have a beautiful week. Thank you for stopping in. I'm sending you guys so much love right now. If you do want to book a one-on-one reading, please reach out to me. Please let me know. That is available, and I'm calling in the money. And I'm calling in the healing. So here we go. My financial straits are being lifted as well. Sending you guys lots of love. Have the best week. Bye.